Hi everyone, I'm Rowan Crozier, Chief Executive at Brandauer.
I'm Stuart Berry, Manufacturing Director at Brandauer.
And this is going to be our first podcast review of 2025. So, last year, a bit ad hoc, I decided to write a short review of 2025, which I posted on LinkedIn, and it went down much better than I thought. Lots of response, lots of engagement, lots of interest. And we thought, what can we do this year? A podcast has always been something that I've always engaged with when people have asked me to do them, but we've never done or produced anything ourselves. So here we are, having a go at doing our own podcast. First Brandauer podcast. We've got our own little studio behind us here. The man behind the camera that you can't see is Tom Madge. He's our marketing officer that started 12 months ago. And he's been very much pushing us to crack on and have a go at this. So we'll try not to swear, we'll try and have some fun, and we'll try and keep it light-hearted and interesting. So very much this is the first time we've ever had the chance to sit down and chat, particularly with some of the bigger things that have gone on this year. As I say, it's been quite a year.
It has, what a year.
Absolutely, with lots going on. I thought we'd start with some anecdotes, really, some interesting stuff. So if you've got to pick out one thing that's happened this year that's been amusing or different, what would that be?
I've already forgot what there was. What was it?
We've got... We've had struggles on certain recruitment in certain areas, haven't we? We made a decision to actually move away after retirement of our subcontract driver.
Yeah, driver.
He decided to retire. I think at the ripe old age of about 74, and we made the decision that we'd bring our local delivery and transport and logistics in house.
Yeah, so we spent the time, went and found a van that suited our needs. A curtain side so we could load pallets in, and then it was let's look for who could we recruit. So I started that, a lot of CVs in, and here we are, probably 5 or 6 drivers down the road and 22 wing mirrors. So yeah, we spent a lot of time having a consumable item for wing mirrors in the business that we'd never done before. But here we are today, we've got a good driver in Gilman, and we know he's a good driver because we've had a report back from our number one customer. Phone call that we all dread, delivery driver's just been, we're thinking, oh no, what we done, what we damaged, and it was a glowing review of him, attending the site, being well mannered, looking after the product, liaising with the team, so a good outcome in the end. Just took us a while to get there.
Definitely. And I think in the process, of bringing it in-house, we probably saved the company about £35,000 a year, and made it a lot more flexible and easier for us to manage, as I'm sure a lot of the viewers and listeners can relate to, of ever-changing delivery schedule. But yeah, what a nice phone call to have. I'm doing a team brief this afternoon, and he's certainly going to get a mention and a small price because he's done really well. From my point of view, I think one of the most amazing things is when we announced that myself, Stuart and David had successfully completed an MBO in September, and we'll talk more about this a bit later on. I actually immediately got the team together, the whole factory, so it was 65 people in a room, or on Teams for the guys that are remote, and explained to them the process, the company going up for sale, being sold. And there were some pretty bleak looking faces initially. And then once we announced that we'd done a management buyout, it's the first time, having been here 16 years and probably delivering over 100 team briefs, I got a round of applause. So it was really nice feedback to get from the most important people really in our business is a round of applause to say, they support us. Because it's been quite a journey. As I say, more on that later.
Yeah, and just on the back of that, we've seen that really come through with the employees now supporting us and helping us grow and move the business in the right direction. So it was a genuine round of applause.
Definitely, and you can definitely feel the change of. It's difficult. It's not necessarily motivation, but drive and care.
Yeah.
For us, really, and acknowledgement of the investment that we've made in the business.
I think the employees now put a face to the business, not just a corporate business, and they know who it is.
Yeah, definitely. So something that's probably, other than the people, that's really important to our business's success thus far, and certainly will be going forward, is what technologies we adopt, what technologies we drive. I don't know. What do you reckon? What do you reckon is the most important one? If you've got to pick one, because we made some investments in the last couple of years that stands out.
Yeah. So the big one for me really is the little bender.
That's what you call it, yeah.
So what we've implemented is a laser cutting machine for thin gauge, which is complementary to what we stamp. So we've always struggled with people spending money laying down a tool and how do you prototype, and as engineers we all want to touch and feel stuff. We've now got a laser cutting machine that allows us to quickly produce a flat blank and look at it, and that's brilliant in itself. But we've now took it one stage further and brought the little bender, which is just a CNC controlled bending machine. So it means we no longer need to make a little knock-up tool that takes 3-4 weeks to make to just prove out a concept. We can, within a day now, laser cut a part and form it with some standard tooling we've got, and touchy-feely, we've got something in our hand and we can change it. I think that's really a game changer for us internally, but also externally to sell to the rest of the world.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really good one, actually, because the approach we took to that, we always struggled to make those early stage development parts for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we always used to, whether we used to subcontract it out or we'd use a more expensive process available to us like WarriDM, we'd make those flat blanks. And it was really finding a way where we could continue to do that, but also offer a cost-effective solution quickly to our customers. And we actually partnered with Birmingham University to do the machine selection part of the process. And our capabilities range, you can see the stuff on the table down here, from 0.1 thick material roughly up to about 2 mil thick. And we wanted a process that we could use that would cover that range of thicknesses, but also a range of materials that cover electrical steel, stainless steel, brass, copper, lots of different copper alloys, to name but a few. And a structured approach to machine selection was vital, and we decided to take an academic partnership to enable that. We got some funding, we selected the university, and they worked with our R&D manager to come up with a list of machines. Then it was about funding it.
Yeah.
Big spend, sort of 200 grand probably, roughly, spend for that machine, that capability. And
Speculative spend as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because we didn't have a contract to bolt this spend against. So again, we went to market, found some funding through Aerospace Up.
Yeah.
And that funded, I think, 40% of that 200 grand, roughly speaking. And that made it a little easier on the wallet to make the decision and invest. I mean, we spent a long time doing that. It was about a year or so.
Yeah,
and then when we eventually got the machine, we probably spent another 6 months
playing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been numerous customers now that have taken advantage of that, as well as ourselves. Which one do you reckon is the one that we felt the most beneficial?
I'd say there's two different streams really. There's a component that's a clip that's got 5 or 6 different bends in. So we laser cut the part really quick. But then a traditional bending solution, we'd make a V-bend tool. We'd have to create overbends. We'd do 5 or 6 different stages in the tool to get it right. So that's probably 3-4 weeks work, and then forming it up to get your first part to go, is it right? We do that now in about 45 seconds bending, and that's a finished part. And we've now had repeat orders. We're on the 5th order. It's only low volume, but the traction's there and it's easier for us to do. It's not taking up resource all the time. So that's one, which is, I'd say, is the traditional Brandauer work. The second one is this lamination stack here. So again, it's low volume but high performance. So it's a non-orientated electrical steel, 0.2 thick. So the traditional way that we'd have done it, obviously you lay a stamping tool down, but there's not enough volume. So then it'd be wired EDM, which to wire EDM, one of them stacks would be taking 30 hours. We've laser cut all these parts and held a 20 micron tolerance and perpendicularity up to 0.1, which is really good. And we've then created our bonding jigs and bonded them. That's allowed us to do a quick turn solution compared to what the traditional route was. And we've gone to market and we've had 0 quality rejects on it. So what a transition from a longer, archaic way of producing the part to a quick solution. And that was just constant for 3-4 weeks to produce all the parts done.
Yeah. The other thing is, just to relate it back to the audience, that the first little brass clip that Stuart was talking about there, that was that goes onto a firefighter's BA breathing apparatus assembly. It's an earthing clip for that. And this one, a little bit more unrelatable, but this particular product goes into a power storage device, which allows for remote storage of power. It's a mechanical battery, for want of a better word, using compressor and motor technology to store energy and then take it out as it's needed. So some real different applications that we're beginning to attract into the business. And again, that's what's made us successful for the sort of 15 to 20 years we've both been here, is that diversity. And we've got to continue, I think, to really attack that. Just to wrap up then, in terms of technology, that particular offering, what's the single biggest benefit, do you reckon, for customers that are coming to us for that type of product?
Reaction speed. It's as simple as that. So traditionally you'd come to us, we could have done all this before, but it was a long process. You can come to us now with a drawing, and provided we've got material on the shelf, the same day we could be delivering parts. And take it one step further, not just parts, it's going to be dimensionally accurate to the microns that we work to day in, day out. So it's a quick turnkey solution that lets us deliver.
Yeah, and I think that the fundamental part of that is it's all in one area. So we've got a area which we call Special Products Division. This is a sort of department within that, and it's totally self-contained. So yeah, we do all the development, but validation-wise, it validates its own product. It packs its own product and then it ship out the door. So it's compressed our lead times for prototypes. And when people are doing multiple stages, cycles of development, they want it, and they want it quick and accurate. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think you're bang on with that. Okay. We've had quite a few contract wins this year. We have to be careful because we're not really allowed to name names because our customers are quite secretive like that. So we've got to be on our best behaviour, but we'll give them some generic terms. If you've got to pick one that, and we've not delivered all of them yet. We've run the business. We've got the hard work to do now. If you've got to pick one that you would sort of say, wow, this is taking us to the next level, something new and different. What do you reckon that is? Which one that is?
For me, it'd be the Polish Tier 1 OEM supplier. So that's taking what we've always done of stamping connectors, switches, blocks to the next level, which is what we need to do to keep moving Brandauer forward. So what I mean by that is stamp the parts we've always done, but now put them into an automated assembly line to produce a finished assembly that we sell into the customer. So for us, that's something we've never done. We've always made the individual parts and someone else assembles it. So we're now setting out the automation line, scoping it out, seeing what the problems are, seeing the throughput, the efficiency gains. It's a real step forward for us as a business, and it allows us to keep moving forward and offer a wider selection than just stamping and low volume machining that we do today.
See, as a business, when we joined all them years ago, before we had grey hair and I had a beard.
And some hair.
And some hair, yeah. Thanks for that. we were very much, and it's just on the table here. This is what the business was founded 164 years ago doing. Pen nibs. So it's making isolated metal parts. And what Stuart's just said, which is absolutely key, is now we're taking lots of components and assembling them together in a highly engineered way. We call it hence engineering sales. Because it's taking what the business was founded on, what we're generally good at, but bringing that together to add more value to our customers and obviously to Brandauer as a company.
And I think the good thing with that is it's using our meticulous detail and processes to use the same knowledge on the new automation assembly. So we're actually producing a higher quality product than perhaps we would just be automating something out the door.
Yeah, definitely. So my turn. Which one do I pick? We did prep this, and I'm going to change my mind, I think, because I just thought of a different one. So we got rather a large automotive tier one customer in the US that we've been working with for 15, 20 years, supplying products for the rearview mirror in the car. So we're currently stamping 200 to 300 million pitches of components to them. And myself and Graham Allison, our technical sales manager, went off to America not long after Trump announced all his tariffs. Timing was very poor. We had an exhibition out there and we were selling our wares, trying to attract new business. And as a result of that trip, I came back thinking, I think the US might well be a bit of a problem for us with what's going on over there. As it happens, about 3 months later, as a result of a customer we met while we were there, we were sourced for quite a large contract, both in terms of progression tooling, automation, crop tooling for an automator, and subsequent component supply, which sort of underline the fact that the US is still a good market for Brandauer, even in light of tariffs. And we currently sit here today with preferential tariffs to China and the EU, and we're continuing to receive some quite significant inquiries. But again, it's not just supplying a metal part, it's contributing to the whole process development. Yeah. It's contributing to our tooling revenue because we're making tooling for other customers now, for them to use and utilise in their production line. But the baseline is we're still progression stamping a part on a tool that we've made as well to supply to that piece of automation. It's seeing our story evolve, and that really is a big takeaway.
And I think that crosses over nicely to what I've just said. So we're producing a prog tool to stamp in-house and send those products to America that's then using cropping tools that we've made in an assembly line. The next natural step is we do the assembly line. We're now getting the knowledge and experience. We can offer the whole package. So I think that crosses over quite well. Definitely.
This sort of segues into the next topic, I think, which obviously is the big one for us. So September the 16th, it's etched in my memory, we actually completed on management buyout. And it's quite an epic historical thing. This company is built on a history of 164 years of ownership, the same ownership, multiple world wars, hopefully not another one, and multiple recessions, challenges, and the business is still thriving today. And it took roughly 20 months from intent of the 44 shareholders that owned the business, 6th generation family owned. They made their decision for fairly obvious reasons, really. The performance of the company has improved over the past 5 years because of the hard work that the team have all done. And we're still living and trading in a really difficult, challenging, risky environment. And they made the decision. So, and after quite an elongated sale process, an MBO presented itself as probably the right option. At the time, we weren't sure.
It's pretty much a year ago this week.
It was. So it was about a year ago. So 10 months in, roughly. That was sort of, we had a discussion, you and I, and the rest is history, I think, as they say. It took a long time. It took a very short time to agree it was the right route and to agree a price. It took quite a long time to get the nuts and bolts of that together, the legals, and actually transact. So exciting, but for me, there's one word that I would say it's been, and that's distracting. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's always been there in the back of your head. It's been business as usual, but the back of your head all the last year. What's going to happen? Are we doing the right thing? But all I'd say is now, that weight's gone. I just think there's the opportunity for us to go, and we've got the team involved. They're all brought into it. Let's go and see what we can make Brandauer be in the future.
I agree. And it just made me think that the day we completed, I was moving quite a lot of money around between different bank accounts to get money to solicitors. And it all seemed it was beginning to happen. And I still thought, is this actually going to go through? And I'd got a client here, big client, fairly new client, senior management, and I had to apologise to say I'm going to be taking a couple of phone calls because I've got quite a big deal going through. And they were like, what deal? I said, I'll tell you if it happens. And about an hour later, I got a one-line email from our solicitor saying, oh, that's it, it's done.
Anticlimactic.
It was, as I say, all that intrepidation, all of that stuff, and that was the. It's almost like when you buy a house and you get the keys. Well, we've got the keys already because we're already running the business. But and what's it like? A lot of people ask me, what's it like? You don't feel much.
No,
it doesn't feel a lot different.
Yeah.
Perhaps with a little bit more burden on our shoulders, a little bit more pressure.
But I'd say that's down to the fact that we've been here running the business together for years, that we've run it as it was our own anyway. So we've looked after the money, we've looked after the employees. Yeah. So that transition of we now own it, we're still doing what we've always done. Yeah. There's just that little bit more pressure that we've got to make it work.
There is, and I think the other, what our previous owners did for this business, and the fact we've had this opportunity to buy it and take it forward. Fantastic of them, nod to them to say, brilliant, thank you. But what it has given us is a wee bit more freedom and a bit more of our own destiny. We were able to prepare a business plan, which still hasn't gone wrong, which is surprising. I've written a few in my time, and normally they go wrong the day after. So it's exciting times. Really good example, touching on what we were just talking about in the US. We've just made the decision to put feet on the ground in the US on the back of the fact that the positivity we've had post that exhibition we did, winning a couple of contracts in the US. We've made that investment and we've taken on a guy who's now going to be feet on the ground, attacking that customer base face to face, which is really important when it comes to trading overseas, particularly in that market. So it's those sort of things that we're now free to do, and we can crack on and do them. The other teaser is, a good proportion. Say if you go back 20 years, all of our business was done face to face, going out, tapping doors. Clearly, the world's a very different landscape now. And 80% of our inquiries come through our website or social media now.
And 50% are abroad, so.
And 50% are abroad, so it's sort of arm's length still. And we are continuing to see growth in that area, and we want to accelerate it. So we've just again made the decision to invest a significant proportion of money. Indeed, we've actually managed to secure some West Midlands Combined Authority funding to help us with that investment as well in our digital platforms, starting with our website. Really giving some thought about how we present ourselves, communicate to our customers what we're now doing, not what we were doing. And we've touched on a little bit of that, I suppose. It's quite daunting. It's an awful lot of work to do, but that was kicked off about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And we're hoping to launch that April, May next year. So yeah, that's something for you guys to look forward to, I hope. And you know, we're hoping to get a 25% improvement. Increase, not improvement, increase in incoming inquiries and interaction on our website as a result of that investment. But more importantly, it's getting the right ones to come.
Yeah, the right
it's
ones.
Attracting the ones that make the impact. And that's the ones that take advantage of all of the things we've been discussing, amongst other things. I think what we're going to do to wrap up is we did put a call to action out there for some questions which are coming in on social media, and we have had a few, and we might even get some live while we're recording as well. So this is a good one. So the first one is, what leadership challenges have we faced post-management buyout?
Oh, interesting. I'd say it was before the buyout, but even more so now. The biggest one for us is definitely the skills shortage that we're seeing, and recruiting. It's actually recruiting the right people for the right job with the right skill set. That's very tricky at the minute, especially doing what we do. It's the technology and the finesse of the people is really hard to come by, and if it's not out there being trained today, then it's not going to be there for any of us.
Yeah, definitely. I reflect, you know, if we hadn't have made that investment in really pushing apprentices and getting our apprenticeship scheme going, and that was 20% roughly of the workforce, roughly are apprentices at any one time, we would be in a real pickle, to put it politely. We've just promoted 2 of our graduated apprentices onto the management team. That now puts about half of the management team coming through the apprenticeship route, and we're maintaining that. God, you're right. Some of the, you know, and that's across the board talent.
Every role,
I think it isn't necessarily just technical roles. It's every single role.
We mentioned the van driver earlier. That was a prime example.
Absolutely.
So it's every role, more so on the skilled roles, but it's every role across the business.
Yeah. And I often get asked the question, what's the one thing to do to get over it? And there isn't. It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. You've got to be on your game when you're recruiting. You've got to follow strict processes and protocols when you're recruiting to ask the right questions, get to a point of offer really quickly, make a competitive offer. You need to benchmark all your pay, make sure you're paying good national rates. You've got to work your network. You've got to work all the, you want world-class recruitment agencies. You want everything. Plus, then you want an apprenticeship. You want university engagement. You've got to be on your game at every level to have a chance of meeting half your needs, I would say.
And a big part of that's being an employer of choice as well, keeping people. So we've got, I don't know, probably 10-15% of the business are long-time servers, or not. What I mean by that is 15 years and above. Yeah. So when people come, they do want to stay and like working here, like what we offer. So doing that at the same time with all this to keep that package, it's been tricky.
It has, and necessary. You get another little soundbite. When I came, average age was 58 across the business. What is it now, 43?
Yeah.
And you can't just recruit young people because the skill set's not there to do that. You need a blend of experience when you're recruiting. So it's a long journey to get yourself into a lower risk demographic in terms of age, without being ageist as well. Important not to do that. So we've recruited people who are sort of 60 to 65, and they've been fantastic additions, and they've stayed here till they're 67. Yeah. And we need them, and they make a huge contribution. But equally, you've got to make sure that you're bringing in other areas as well. So we've got another question coming via LinkedIn, and they're asking both of us, what's the one piece of advice you would give to an SME business in the current environment?
I'd say keep doing what you do well and believe in yourselves.
Yeah.
We're going to be here as long as you believe in yourselves and keep moving forward and progressing with technology. UK is the place to be for manufacturing.
Yeah. I'd sort of take that a step further, and it's very clear from some of the meetings I attend with Make UK and others that SME manufacturers are the forgotten lifeblood of all of the bigger names in the UK. There's an awful lot of us. I don't know the stats, but there's an awful lot of businesses that fall into the small to medium-sized bracket. And without us there and punching, well, they wouldn't exist, because we do some really special stuff. And I think that the nub of it is being laser focused on what you're really, really good at, and evolve it from there. But our success has come from our diversity in 3 areas: countries we supply, markets we supply, and technology that we use. And we keep trying to expand that, or dilute our reliance all the time. It's very easy to get settled on one customer, one technology, or one country you're supplying, and it's hard work, but you've got to keep pushing it. The other one from me is about export. So I often get asked, how did you be successful at exporting? And I think it's, more recently, it's been about partnering with a UK client that you can grow with, particularly as a small SME. In the early days, we were supplying somebody that was a UK or European customer, and then they've put satellite plants up for that product around the world, and we've grown with them. We're a little bit more self-fulfilling now, and we actually target those markets actively, which require knowledge, research, help from Department of Business and Trade and all of that. But if you want to do it the soft way, the easier way, it's find a customer that you can grow with.
But again, the key to all that is knowing your technology and believing in yourselves to keep moving and sell it to the rest of the world.
Definitely. Current marketplace is quite daunting, but reasonably positive. So HSBC were predicting modest growth next year, a modest reduction in inflation, and a reduction at some point in interest rates. So I'm not going to get overexcited by that sort of feedback, but it's something for us to work on and build on, and try and forget some of the negativity, or not forget it, but try and focus on the positives. There is some good stuff out there, and for good manufacturers with a nice diverse client base and a great technology offering, there's opportunities, and I think that's what we've got to stay positive and drive into next year with. I think we're out of time. I don't know where that went. It flew by. So I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you to Stu. Thank you from me. And thank you to our hidden producer, Tom, behind the scenes. He's now got the job of editing this together. That's our review of 2025. I wish you all the best for festive period, and all the best of luck for 2026. Thank you very much for listening.